Welcome back to the Lockwood Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we are going over my October reading wrap-up. If you hear a basketball bouncing, it is the neighbor boy across the street. We gotta film this video. We gotta get this out for you. And ball is life. I think he stopped for a little bit. I'm so proud of them for playing outside. Do you like my shirt? I got it last year and I'm still obsessed with it. Girls will be girls. Honestly, totally forgot about it. Could have been wearing it all month. We're wearing it now for the wrap up of October. Talking about all these spooky, scary books that I read. They were all on theme for the month. Well, let's just get right into it then. Here's all the books that I read in the month of October. Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So fun and so spooky for my scaredy cat heart. If you actually like horror, this might be a little too light for you. I would consider this a light horror book. I don't like being scared. I don't really like anything scary, but this was the perfect book vibes that I was trying to attain. Like I said, it's a horror book. It's haunted house vibes and a lot of family drama, but also like a subplot of romance. There are three sisters. Cleo is the one that we are following, and she is an influencer in New York City. She is close with her sisters and her dad and her stepmom, but she also like keeps her distance too. And she's the youngest, and they did not get along with their mother. Their mother was seen as not a good parent to them. After their parents divorced, their mom moved into this house to try to be closer to her daughters, to have shared custody and make that easier. Well, it turns out this house was haunted. It was very traumatic for them growing up. Their mother passes away, and so they inherit this house. Nobody really wants to deal with it. Cleo's like, you know what? I'll use this as content. DIY flipping houses does really well. Attempts to flip the house. Well, the house flips her. The house is creepy AF, and a bunch of memories start to emerge from the depths of Cleo's mind, plus her mom wrote a book about this house too. I really liked this. I thought it was really fun. It was really engaging. I got scared. I was scared to read it at night. I loved it all the way up until the last little bit of the epilogue, and I just wish it would have ended on a different note. So I was kind of bummed about the ending of the entire book and how that wrapped up. I had a good time. So if you're wanting something scary but you're not a brave person, just want the vibes, this is a good one to go to. But again, for those people that love scary things, this might be a little too tame for you. Mate by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the second book in whatever this series is. The first one is Bride. I freaking loved this book. It was so fun. It was a silly, goofy, good time. Ellie Hazelwood nailed the Ellie Hazelwood nailed the paranormal romance element of these books. Was born to write this kind of romance. She's so good at it. I really hope we get more in this series because this was just so freaking fun. So this is a werewolf romance, and it's very grumpy sunshine. Found family is fantastic, and it's also kind of a forbidden romance due to state of the pack. It's super bingeable. Like both Bride and this were super bingeable. I wish I would have read Bride again right before I read this, just to refresh. We are following Serena and Cohen is the alpha of one of the packs. I believe it's the Northeast pack. Serena's going through a lot of health stuff right now. It is a great reminder that women's health needs to be explored and studied and taken seriously. Cohen and Serena are mated. She doesn't really understand what that means because she grew up more in the human world. She's just not very well educated in werewolf lore. Cohen is like, I don't really want you for anything. Yes, we're mates, but I don't care. Like me or not, it doesn't really matter to me. Their banter is phenomenal. It's some of the best banter. Like Bride had good banter, this has phenomenal banter. They're so sassy to each other. They're so funny. Their little quips. There's also a little bit of some cultish action that takes place in here too. Serena battling for her life, right? Honestly, she is fighting for her life in this in more ways than one. It's so fun, guys. I highly recommend this. I really hope we get more. Tourist Season by Bryn Weaver. This is a dark romantic comedy, just like her previous trilogy was. Ruinous Love Trilogy, which is Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, Scythe and Sparrow. This is a spin-off of a character that we saw in Butcher and Blackbird. We are following Harper and Nolan in this. It's again, serial unalivers falling in love. It takes place in this town called Cape Carnage or just Carnage, but I'm pretty sure it's Cape Carnage. Harper is a gardener and she fertilizes those plants with tourists who come to town who are not great people. She's just keeping the town safe. That is her job. She works hard on the gardens and she works hard on keeping the town safe. She does a great job at it too. There she is, minding her business in this little cute cottage next to a mansion with this rich guy, which is also her best friend. His name is Arthur. He's just an older gentleman going through some health stuff. He is suffering from early onset dementia. We're seeing that as well. And Arthur has his own little tale to tell. Nolan comes to town because Nolan was involved in a really bad accident. Him and his brother were, and his brother did not make it. And Nolan is on a quest for revenge in the unaliving form of those who are involved in that accident. So he comes to town with those intentions. Some other shenanigans happens, some blackmail, some bonding, some bondage. It's just really fun. Butcher and Blackbird is still my favorite out of all the books that I've read by her. It's a second, that's for sure. Really enjoyed this one. The cliffhanger at the end, I kind of didn't expect that we were going to get that soon. I don't know how this series is going to go. I don't know if we're going to be following Nolan and Harper in the rest of the trilogy or if we're going to spin off, but I am excited to see where she takes it. I listened to the Scared Sexy novellas. 6 novellas that Kindle Unlimited and Audible pair together. They've done a few other seasonal ones. They've done Holiday Time, St. Patty's Day, Valentine's Day, and I think maybe that's it. They might have done another one. This bunch was paranormal romances and they were all open door. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, you also get the free audiobook. I enjoyed listening to them. I feel like they did 2 of the authors kind of dirty though. 4 of the 6 novellas were duet narration, meaning that there are 2 narrators and for every time the male or female narrator spoke in the other narrator's POV. For instance, female narrator chapter, and every time a male character spoke, it would be the male narrator saying that line. For 2 of the novellas, that didn't happen. It was just the female reading the female chapters, the POVs, and the male reading the male POVs and changing their voice pitch to accommodate for the male or female characters in that POV. And I hated that. I love duet narration. And I just hate that they didn't do that for all of them. And they're all by various authors. Let me pull them up because for some reason I decided not to write them down. Hot for Slayer by Ellie Hazelwood. Falling by Christina Lauren. Spicy Little Curses by J.T. Gessinger. Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon. Beautiful Nightmare by Katie Robert. My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming. They were just really fun. They were like a couple hours long, so nothing crazy, but they were just so fun. And I also just love that we got another vampire romance by Ellie Hazelwood. And the fact that I loved and got attached to these characters and they're only 2 hours long, impeccable. Great job. Hooked me right in. Yes, things move along very quickly. Really great books to just get into the holiday spirit with some romance. I don't really want to get into any of them because again, they're only a couple hours long, so that kind of spoils everything. I finally got the audiobook off of Libby for Disney High. I feel like I was on that wait list for months. It was months. I think I put a reservation in it earlier this year. Finally got a hold of it, and that is by Ashley Spencer, and it is the rise and fall of Disney Channel. It specifically follows Disney Channel. The DCOMs, the actors, the television shows of when it was at its height, kind of like when it was first starting, and then the shows that morphed it into what it was now, or like when it was really big, and then where it started to peter off. So the height of Disney Channel was High School Musical, obviously, and Hannah Montana, that era. So we spent a lot more time in that, but we also spent a lot of time, Lizzie McGuire was also one of the first breakout shows that people really got into, so we spent more time on that. It covered so much. It also covered some drama, some behind the scenes stuff. Not everything, considering it covered such a wide span. It was really entertaining. I wish it was longer. I wish it was kind of a series. It moved so quickly through everything. It also broke down Disney Channel's formula for seasons and how long they run for. Just knowing the drama behind everything and how everything came to be and like the ideas of stuff, what worked, what didn't. It was really fascinating. I'm really fascinated by Disney. Just seeing the evolution. For myself, I didn't grow up on Disney because it was, and they talked about this too, for some cable networks, you had to pay a subscription fee to get it. And I was always so jealous of my friends that had it. I was just like, wow, they're so cool. They're so rich. And then when Disney finally went to cable, I was like, this is the best day of my life. And I finally could watch all the shows that my friends were watching, like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven. It was so fun. What a time to be alive. They didn't really get into Good Luck Charlie or Jessie. Very briefly mentioned. I mean, if you like Disney and kind of want to know more about it and some drama, there it is. Would recommend. And then I read Eldritch by Carrie Lake. This is the second book in the Eating Wood series. Anathema is the first. I have raved so hard about Anathema, which is why I'm so sad to say that I did not like Eldritch. There were moments that I enjoyed it, there were quotes that I enjoyed it, but the book as a whole, I did not like. I was bored through so much of it. Let me explain myself. This book is 749 pages. We'll round up to 750. Carrie Lake at the beginning, she writes a little author's note that states that this is more of a character-driven story. We get past and present timelines as well as multiple POVs, specifically of Zavander and his backstory and why he is the way he is for the most part, the trauma that he lived through before we met him in Anathema. And it is very traumatic. However, even those chapters, because they were very repetitive in that trauma, but I was bored through that too. I was just like, can I just be done with this chapter? I don't want to read about this. I'm bored, and like, it is very touchy material, revolting in the sense of the trauma that he was going through. And I just didn't see the point of having so much of it. She does say like, while things may not seem clear, everything comes together at the end. I agree and I disagree. I feel like this book would have been perfect if it was half the length, or even like 400 pages. I'll even give it 450. Some of the chapters could have been reduced, cut out, combined. A character-driven story of a gothic romantasy. It's not it. Like it was really hard to get through. I like a character-driven story, don't get me wrong, but when it's supposed to be like a romantasy, and especially coming off of Anathema, it made me question if I actually enjoyed Anathema. It makes me question if I should even recommend that book anymore, because this one was just not good. I would say it started to pick up at the 50% mark and then really started to pick up at the 70% mark. And then at the end, we're on another cliffhanger. I don't know if I can do another book. We'll see when the time comes. We'll see how long it is. We'll see if it's a character-driven story again. And the thing is, I would just be like, oh, just read Anathema. But Anathema ends on a cliffhanger. If you want to read Anathema and just be okay with the cliffhanger, then I would do it. And then maybe when the third book comes out, do the recap of Eldritch, because I didn't see the point of it being that long. It got to the point where I was just like reading to get it done and over with. When the last chapter came on, it was 2 minutes long, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I even said it out loud, I'm like, oh, another 2 minutes? I feel horrible for saying that. There were moments that I really enjoyed, but just like not enough. It was too long. And we also had a POV where it was nice to like see what they were up to, but felt unnecessary. That was a bummer. I was really sad because I know that I was just like, oh, when is the second book in the Eating Wood series coming? I've been talking about it for months now and saw that it was finally on there, which is why I didn't read Nocticadia this month, because I'm like, oh, I'll read Eldritch. And it took me so long to get through it. Ooh, lighting change. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. And this is a psychological thriller, and it is multiple POVs, which was fun. It deals a lot with grief and trauma. So our POVs are Amanda, Ruth and Scott, who are husband and wife, and Pharaoh, who is the detective. In Amanda's 6-year-old daughter, unfortunately gets abducted, and her daughter is no longer living, which was tragic. Grieving a lot of different things, as well as dealing with the emotional weight and the frustration that her daughter's killer won't be put away because of who they are, the connections that they have. And she is just fed up. Detective Pharaoh, he is just this amazing detective. Like he just loves the job and loves to help solve unsolvable cases. Amanda has to accomplish some things for the court system, and she is told that she has to go to a group therapy session for grieving parents. And she does, and she meets Wendy, and Wendy and her kind of strike up a kill pact. Amanda would kill Wendy's target, and Wendy would kill Amanda's target, because there's no ties, because the group is anonymous and nobody can trace it back to them. Our other POV, Ruth and Scott, they are a married couple. Ruth has something very traumatic happen to her. Somebody breaks into her home while she is sleeping, and Scott is out with his friends at that point for a little boys' night out that he has every couple weeks. Somebody tries to unalive her. They don't get to finish the job of unaliving her. She is struggling with agoraphobia and just feeling unsafe. And it's also kind of a serial unaliver. Not the fun kind, not the fun rom-com kind that we are used to from Brynn Weaver. This is not a romantic comedy unaliving situation. And then again, Farrow is the detective on that case too. It was very good. There was one plot twist I didn't see coming, and then the other ones I figured out right before they were. So it was very guessable. So if you're looking for a psychological thriller or a thriller that you can't guess, like I really try not to guess anything because I don't really care to. I just like to go in for the ride. I figured a lot of things out, but it was still a really good time. It was really fun to read. I got really invested into it. I listened to the audiobook primarily, but I also read some on my Kindle, and I got both from Libby. This was one of my book club's picks, and I am so excited to hear what they have to say when we meet in a couple days. And then I read the second book in the Inheritance Games, which is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So I won't go into this one at all, but the first book is Avery inherits all of this money from this very wealthy older man who has passed away, and she doesn't know him. Very confused as to why she's getting this, but the condition is she has to live at the Hawthorne mansion for a year. When she gets there, the family is still there. They get to reside still in the mansion too, but unfortunately for Avery, she inherits pretty much everything. They get nothing. It's a YA kind of mystery, and it's very enjoyable. It's very fun. I listened to the audiobook primarily in the first one, and I also listened primarily to the audiobook on this second one. They're all available on Kindle Unlimited as well. The second one, we go into a little bit more mystery. Tobias Hawthorne, he loved riddles, he loved games. He makes you work for it. The house itself, the mansion itself, is a puzzle to solve because there are trapdoors, there are ins and outs of different things, sundials, whatever. There's just a lot going on. And then on top of that, he left clues and riddles for family secrets and mysteries and all of that. We're just trying to solve another mystery in this one. I can't solve a riddle to save my life. It's fun to listen to other people figure things out because I'm never going to. There is a love triangle between Avery and two of the brothers. I know what team I'm on, and I haven't really paid attention to anybody else's reviews. I don't know, love triangles are just weird. Teenage love triangles are weird. Ugh. I'm gonna continue on with the third one. It's The Final Gambit, and I know there is a Brothers spinoff, but people seem to not like that one. There we go, guys. Those are all the books that I read in the month of October. If you watched my October TBR, you will realize I really didn't get to majority of the books that I said I was going to read this month. And oh well, we just took a few detours. What did you end up reading in the month of October? What was your favorite book of October? I would love to know. And feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future reading wrap-ups, TBRs, reading vlogs, all of that good stuff, as well as like this video. I would just really appreciate it. It helps me and my channel out. That would just be so lovely. With that being said, respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks, bye.